Okay, here we go again. We were just in the middle of figuring out when this thing got paid off, and I think it was around 330, so I'm going to just arrow down a little bit. And I'm looking for a spot where my payment is pretty small, but it's not negative yet. Because if it's negative, they owe me money. So it's down to only 3,000 bucks left, and I can tell you from experience, when your mortgage starts getting close, it gets exciting because it's like, oh, almost done paying for this thing, and it feels really good when you finally do pay it off. Um, we made some choices. We are people who have been very frugal with a lot of things. Like we haven't uh, we haven't ever bought a new car, for instance. I drive a car that's got a bunch of rust on it. That's okay with me because it's not terrible or anything. I like it. It's a Toyota. It randomly drives incredibly fast. That's good too. No, actually, mine's old enough that it doesn't do that. But did you guys see that on the news? There was a one out of control on the highway, and like the person was on the phone with the 911 person, like going, "I can't stop my car," and finally a cop pulled in front of him, and like got and then hit the brakes fast enough or hard enough to like slow the car down, like it basically allowed the other car to run into him, and then they like slowed down together. That's how he got it to a stop. So kind of scary. Of course, they don't know. The guy could have, if he just wanted to get attention, like the balloon guy. He could have been just faking it. They don't know, but I doubt it. But he could have been just faking it. Could have been sitting in the car pressing on the gas pedal going, I can't stop it. But anyway. So, this one, it's paid off after 330 full payments, but you still owe a little bit more. So if this month you paid 330 payments of 1,500 plus 1,000, we're going to round it off, call it 1,000. So we'll go 330 full payments plus 1,000. Everybody, clear off your calculator screen. Clear. Go 330 full payments. That's times 1,500 plus an extra 1,015. I'm gonna add the. It's rounded the dollar that way anyway. Enter. Wait a minute. I borrowed 200,000 for the house. How come I ended up paying 496,000? Is that right? Yes, it is. Because after 30 years of paying for this house, you have paid so much interest. Specifically, if we want to know the interest, what do we subtract right now? 200,000. And we can see we paid $296,000 in interest. We paid more in interest than we did for the house. It happens all the time. This is a very normal scenario. $200,000 to buy a house in Minnetonka, that's pretty normal. Could be a lot more than that. Could be a little less than that. Payments are about right. 8% interest, that's a little high on interest nowadays, but there's a lot of people paying even more than that. So it really depends on the person. If you have really good credit, you might only be paying 5 or 6% interest. But that's a lot of money that you paid extra. Now, the reason that people do it, though, is because not many people are walking around with $200,000 in their pocket that they can just buy a house with. They have to borrow the money because they don't have enough. And that's normal. Almost everybody has to borrow to get a house. But there's a smart thing you can do. That's the what if here. What if we borrow the 200,000, but we pay 2,000 a month? Is that out of the question? No, it's only $500 more than you're already paying. You're paying 1,500. Add an extra 500. And I know not everybody could do that, but homes that have like 2 incomes, or maybe you decide not to go on that fancy trip. A fancy trip will cost you like $5,000 or $6,000, and you save up and you put the money towards your house. I want you to just go back, change this to, instead of 1,500, be like that lady we talked about at the beginning of the hour that never even bought a car, and she lived in a little teeny tiny house, and she just decides to put extra money towards paying off that house. Look at how much faster this thing pays off. I'm going to even go to my table settings, and I'll tell you, we don't have to be in the 300s. We don't have to be in the 200 payments. We're going to be down in the 100 and something payments. I'm gonna go like 120 just to get kind of in the right ballpark. I think it's actually more like 130 or 140 or something. I'm going to try 140. And I'm going to say enter table. Let's see how much we paid for this loan. It's the same $200,000 loan. And you're just paying it back faster. Did anybody find the number yet? So this one isn't paid off yet at 140. Okay, maybe it's like 150 or something. I guess I'll just 160. Has anybody actually gotten it? At least 100 and what? 60ish? I'm gonna go 165 then. Thank you. Okay, cool. All right. So what does this mean? This means that what? Also, no big deal. I paid more. So yeah, it paid off faster. But that's not the point. You didn't really pay more. You paid more per month, but the grand total you paid was 165 payments that are full payments of 2,000. 165 times 2,000 plus 678. 165 times 2,000 plus 168. That's 330,000 instead of 496. You saved yourself $166,000 by paying extra on your mortgage. And here's the other thing. Your mortgage didn't take 30 years to pay off like the other one did. This one only took 165 payments. Let's take that divided by 12. If we take 165 divided by 12, it's about 13 years to pay off your mortgage. Wouldn't it feel a lot better to have it paid off after 13 years? Then after 13 years, you still got like 18 more to go. Depressing. All right. So I can tell you from personal experience, I've been the guy who decided not to buy the new car or to make sacrifices so I could make extra payments and got my house paid off early, and it felt really good. And it's not something only rich people can do. You don't have to be rich to do that. You just have to be disciplined about being willing to save extra money. If you have the extra money, you'll have two choices. You can spend it, or you can put it towards paying off your house early. And it's a personal choice on what you do. I think people can make mistakes going both directions too much, spending too much or saving too much and becoming like a Scrooge that won't spend a dime. But at least you need to know the math of it. That if you want to save a little bit of money, a lot of money, you can pay off your house early, and it's really not a bad idea. All right. So you've learned how to calculate exactly how much you're paying for a loan, exactly how much interest you paid, and I hope you learned that by making a small extra payment, you can save. It's kind of counterintuitive. You wouldn't think it would save you that much money, but it does. It saves you a ton because that compounding effect. All right. Uh, Homework for tonight. Make sure that you come back with a college that you are interested in possibly attending and how much it costs. I want you to look that up. We're going to look up some on the internet here after the video's done. I want you to, just have this be one of the possible places you would consider going. Of course, you don't have to decide today what college you're going to go to, but you've got to pick one that you might want to go to and look up their tuition and room and board. I'll do some searches with you after the video is done here.